We have finally made it to the last in our series pitting Carnival against Norwegian, at least based on my limited experiences with both. We ended part two with Carnival ahead by 1 point, but let's see who comes out ahead when we finish up the last few categories. Ahoy travelers, it's Amy with Cruising from the Ozarks here with another video designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. It only takes a second, and doing so helps other cruisers find us. Well, we finally made it to part three of our series. If you missed the first two parts, you're going to want to go back and watch those. When part two ended, Carnival was still ahead by 1 point. So let's put that ticker back up and see who is ahead when our comparison is finished. I know a lot of people love the entertainment aspect of a cruise. They like that their cruise fare consists of a place to stay, food, and entertainment all wrapped up in one. However, neither my mom or I are that into going to shows on a cruise or not into comedians. I'd rather just go see a movie under the stars than be crammed into a theater to watch entertainers that, let's be honest, may or may not be very good. So I may not be the best judge when it comes to the entertainment available on a ship. The first time I've been to a show on a cruise in a theater was on the Breakaway. And that was because they offer Broadway-style musicals instead of a musical variety show. I've said this before, and I know I'm probably in the minority, but I'm just not that into listening to musicians who sing covers of other people's music. So you're unlikely to find me at an 80s rock variety show, no matter how much I love 80s music. And trust me, I love 80s music. To me, these musical variety shows, they're full of music and dance. And what happens is you get some people who are great singers, but not very good dancers. You get some who are great dancers, but not very good singers. And some that aren't that great at either. They're just mediocre. And so for me, it's just not my favorite thing to watch. In my opinion, a cruise line putting on full Broadway musicals is more appealing than a compilation of songs. So for me, Norwegian gets a point for offering better entertainment options in their theater. Point to Norwegian. Now, the other entertainment option we enjoy are the game shows like the Love and Marriage shows and the Battle of the Sexes. These are always fun to watch. And while the shows themselves are basically the same, whether you're on Carnival or Norwegian, the venue isn't. Carnival has their popular game shows like this in their theater. So there's plenty of seating. And on the Breakaway, and I'm pretty sure on most of their ships, Norwegian puts them in the atrium. And I discussed this before, there's just not enough room for everyone that wants to watch to be able to watch. Not even when half the audience is standing up, which is what happens. So point to Carnival for the better venue. Before we continue breaking down what we like better on Carnival versus Norwegian, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. We're a new channel and could really use your support to help us reach more cruisers like you. Like, subscribe, and share. It really helps our channel out with the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you also ring that notification bell so you don't miss any future posts. Now, while we're on the topic of entertainment, we have to talk about one of the things that I dreaded the most when it came to sailing on Norwegian, and that's the reservation system and having to make reservations to see their shows. And I was also confused by the option to make reservations for the main dining rooms, despite having heard that all the dining was anytime dining. I had gone on to their website to make reservations for the specialty dining, which totally makes sense. And they were also offering the ability to make reservations in the main dining rooms, of which they have 3 on the Breakaway. And I just didn't understand that. And it was a little stressful. I also didn't understand why you could make reservations for the main dining room months ahead, but you couldn't for the entertainment. More on that in a second. Norwegian requires making reservations for shows and specialty dining. And while I understand the specialty dining needing that, shows should just be first come, first served. The stress of needing to make reservations as soon as you board the ship if you're wanting to make sure to see a show is just unnecessary. Now, we did discover that there's more kiosks to book your shows than you may think. When we got in, everybody was bundled up around the few that were right there, but there's actually plenty of them. They're on every floor. They're next to the stairwells. There's plenty of them. So there's no need to stand in line at the first one that you see. And recently, Norwegian finally has gotten their act together and decided to allow guests to make show reservations a few weeks prior to embarkation, which should help. But when it comes to actually getting to see a show, Carnival's process is easier because there's no reservations needed. You just show up and get a seat. If you want to get a good seat, you show up early. And the theaters are large and usually have plenty of seating to accommodate everyone who wants to attend. Now, maybe Norwegian needs a reservation system because the demand is higher since they're offering Broadway style shows. But I honestly still don't see the need. Even with reservations, it's still first come, first served when you're talking about who gets the best seats in the theater. Besides, we had a couple that was waiting in line with us who said that they didn't have reservations and they were just going to, see if there was going to be some seats left over after everybody got in, which they do. 15 minutes before the show, open up and allow people to come in and take up any seats that people didn't show up for. Well, they just walked right in with us, and we were at the beginning of the line. They first probably 50 people, and they walked in right with us, got their card scanned, and nobody stopped them. They didn't have a reservation. So I'm not really sure that the system is working anyway. So point to Carnival when it comes to reservations or not needing to have reservations. Now, as I said, I'm not a big fan of shows put on in the theater. It just really isn't my thing. What I do enjoy is watching a first run movie while sailing the open ocean. It's like a drive-in movie of the olden days, but even cooler because you're literally in the middle of the ocean. And Carnival's dive-in movies is one of my favorite ways to relax in the evenings while on board a ship. Almost every evening, you're going to find an early and a late showing of a first run movie out on the Lido on the big screen. So, first run, like just out of the theaters. They're newer movies. The Red Frog Rum Bar serves up free popcorn. There's plenty of seating, not only on the Lido itself, but also on the decks above that look down onto the screen. Now, if you want front row seat, you're going to get there early. But other than that, you're not going to not find a seat. I was looking forward to doing the same while on the Norwegian Breakaway because I knew they had movies, but I was sorely disappointed. First off, they only show one movie out on the open deck, maybe, and it isn't a first run movie. They were showing them on Spice H2O, but they had taken up all the deck chairs in preparation for the deck parties later at night. So there was very little seating, although that didn't really end up being an issue because hardly anyone would stay after they discovered the setup for the movie. We saw so many people walk in to Spice, look around, and then leave. I mean, let's be honest, half of Spice H2O, there were people there just because it's the smoking section. They were over in the area next to the bar, that's the smoking section. Most of them weren't even paying attention to the movie. They were just there because they could smoke and drink. The seating that they did have just wasn't very comfortable. You couldn't lay down and watch the movie because they pulled up all the lounge chairs. Nor was it easy to see the movie because there was a large partition in the way of your viewing. To say it was a disappointment would be an understatement. They would also have late night movies in the atrium, but they were even older movies that started at 11 p.m. Now, I'm definitely not staying up that late to watch an old movie that I've already seen before. So, point to Carnival for getting my favorite entertainment right. We usually spring for the drink package, and we've also been known to get a spa package depending on the ship and what's offered as part of that package. Now, Carnival's drink package is expensive, as all drink packages are, but it's the most reasonable one in my opinion. However, Norwegian offers their free at sea bundle, which has the drinks included, but more than that. And it's a much better deal than buying their drinks package just on its own. And honestly, I wish all lines offered these upgraded bundles instead of making people pay for each package separately. So point to Norwegian for their free at sea. What you prefer and what we prefer may be different. So I've tried to give you an honest assessment over the last 3 videos of the various areas discussed and then our opinion on whether we see that as a positive or a negative, so that even if you enjoy something that we don't, you're still going to have an idea of what to expect. But as you can see, we finish our series with Carnival ahead by 2 points. But Carnival being ahead by 2 points, does that answer our question? Will I sail on Norwegian again? Look, I would definitely sail on Norwegian again if it was an itinerary that I really wanted to do at a price that I just couldn't pass up. Overall, we still prefer our cruises with Carnival over our experience on the Breakaway. One of the things that I love about cruising is the variety. From ship to ship to line, there's something for everybody. We had a good time on the Breakaway. And as I always say, cruising is like pizza. I've never had bad pizza, just some pizza's better than other pizza. I really think that a lot of the issues that we had with the Atrium, Lido, and Spice H2O on the Breakaway came down to layout and the Broadway shows. The theater can't be used in the evenings for game shows and other popular events due to the Broadway shows like Six and Burn the Floor having 2 shows every evening. And the Lido is too crowded with hot tubs and showers to allow for deck parties, so they push those onto Spice, which means that it then can't be used to do movies under the stars in a way that guests can comfortably watch the movie. So, just for fun, what's our favorite ship so far? And that's the Carnival Dream, hands down. I think it's the perfect size. It has everything you need, lots to do and enjoy, but it isn't too big of a ship. Having said that, our next 3 ships are all bigger and bigger. We've got the Carnival Vista, Carnival Jubilee, and MSC's Eurybia. It's going to be interesting to compare their designs and all they have to offer to the ships and cruises that we've been on so far. What line is your favorite? Do you have a favorite ship? Are there any lines that are on your bucket list? Leave a comment below and let's start a discussion. I know that I really want to try out Princess and Celebrity soon, and we actually did just book a celebrity cruise for 25. Now, I've never really had a lot of desire to go on Royal Caribbean unless it's one of their smaller ships. The big ships, I think they're just really being designed for families, and we sail as a mother-daughter team, so it's just really not geared towards us. That's not to say I won't ever go on one, though. We'll see. Let me know in the comments what you think. Stick around and check out this next video, and then come back for more videos on our Breakaway experience. Have a blessed week, everyone.